Our inexperienced new Prime Minister Andy Burnham is already getting his sums wrong. Oh dear. Bitter Darren Jones, who lost his place at the top table, pointed out an error in Andy's first major financial policy announcement, which was to bring down the cost of living by taking VAT off electricity bills, a £2 cap on bus journeys, ending rough sleeping and slashing business rates at pubs and music venues. Now, he would pay for some of this with the digital ID scheme cash. Darren Jones tweeted,
"It took precisely one sentence spoken on his very first day in the job for Britain's brand new Prime Minister to accidentally cost the country money. Not a policy, not a scandal, just one phrase, uttered live on camera, and the bond markets reacted like somebody had shouted fire in a crowded theatre. Good day and welcome back to British Insider, because today we are conducting a full audit of Andy Burnham's opening days in Downing Street, and the results are rather more revealing than any leadership speech could ever be. Right, quick favour before we get into the numbers. If you are enjoying this channel, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell while you are there. Over 90% of you watching have not yet, and honestly, it costs nothing, takes 1 second, and genuinely helps this channel keep going. Right, favour asked, now let us open the books.
Good news that VAT will be cut on electricity bills is a simple way for families to save a few quid and to mechanically help to keep inflation that little bit lower. But the digital ID programme was unfunded. The government will have to set out how it will pay for its new policies at the budget. Well, who needs an opposition when you've got recently sacked Cabinet Minister Darren Jones, who has just admitted that the digital ID scheme was unfunded. This shows just how shambolic this Labour government have been so far. But it doesn't end there. Our exuberant new Prime Minister has pledged to deal with the social care crisis, which is estimated to cost about £18 billion. Very laudable. And he's launched a parade of plans which are likely to cost us taxpayers eye-watering sums. A dossier produced by the Tory party listed a series of pledges made by Andy Burnham, which included £18.8 billion spent on council house building, £22.7 billion to bring Thames Water under public control, £14.1 billion in future defence spending, £12.4 billion in unfreezing income tax and personal allowances, £8 billion the uplift for foreign aid. So the dossier has...
The offending phrase was fiscal flexibility. Two perfectly innocent-sounding words Burnham used while insisting he would still stick to existing spending rules. Investors heard something rather different, and within hours, the 30-year gilt yield jumped to nearly 6%. The 10-year followed close behind, and the pound quietly slipped against the dollar. Think of it like reassuring your bank manager you are definitely not overspending, while simultaneously ordering a second round of drinks for the entire pub. The words say discipline, the body language says something else entirely, and markets, rather famously, watch body language. And here's where the suspense really builds, because analysts almost immediately reached for the same uncomfortable comparison. Liz Truss, 2022, 44 days, gone. Nobody is suggesting Burnham is about to repeat that particular collapse, and to be fair, he has not announced anything close to Truss's unfunded tax giveaway. But a fresh report on market fragility has confirmed that the Truss episode permanently changed how nervous gilt investors now are, meaning even a single loosely chosen word from a new Prime Minister can move markets that used to shrug such things off entirely. That is not a reputation Burnham can talk his way out of, it is simply the weather system he has walked into. So, what exactly is he actually promising, and can the country afford it? The list so far includes scrapping VAT on domestic electricity bills, floated rises to income tax thresholds, a pledge to end rough sleeping, up to £16 billion more for infrastructure, a genuinely expensive social care overhaul, and a defence budget gap approaching £5 billion that his own new Chancellor must somehow close. Meanwhile, the £20 billion of headroom the government was relying on was already looking distinctly thin before the ink had even dried, and May's borrowing figures overshot official forecasts by more than £5 billion on their own.
Calculated that Mr Burnham's future plans could cost approximately £76 billion, and that there has been no explanation to how it will be funded. Our new Prime Minister is being accused of plans that will put the taxpayer on the hook for an extra £4,300 per year, and that he is writing cheques that British people can't cash by running up £96 billion of policy pledges. Alongside his new Chancellor, John Healey, who couldn't count how many ships we have, when asked on LBC Radio in March.
We have 17 frigates and destroyers. It's down from 23 at the end of the last Labour government. And as I say, the number of mine hunters have been cut by more than half. And so that we can meet not just the threats we face now, but the threats in the future.
Yeah, no, he got that wrong. I think things are going swimmingly, don't you? He is our new Chancellor. That is, of course, John Healey, who resigned because the defence budget fell short by £5 billion. So more money Andy has to find. I wonder if Andy is going to blame his financial woes on his inheritance from Keir Starmer's Labour. Andy told the BBC that he's not going to call a general election, even though he doesn't have a mandate for all of this.
Well, I'm going to rule it out. Yeah, there's no early general election. I don't think people want it. You know, the opinion polls might say there's some people do, some people don't. But the thing is, I just think what I most need to do is get Britain focused on getting the country back where it should be.
Listen, Andy, I'm not opposed to some of your plans, but those in your party were swift to roast Liz Truss for her unfunded approach. So it's only fair that you get the same treatment. I've got a few areas where you could actually save money. Welfare, for one, and the boats, which right now, the latter is being abused and poses a national security threat. But we don't want to mention those, do we? So, Andy, where are you going to get the money from?